Alright, welcome back to my channel. What we're looking at today is FAST Grade 6 Mathematics Release Paper 2024. Alright, let us take a look at what the first question is. Alright, so the first question says, Jackson has a weekly reading goal. He needs to read for at least, so here's the keyword, at least, 2 hours to meet his reading goal this week. Which inequality models R, and R is for reading, the number of hours Jackson needs to spend reading this week. All right, because we have at least, whenever we see at least, it is greater than or, all right, or equal to that number. So it's going to be greater than, so R will be greater than or at least equal to 2. So we're looking for that, and you can see here that D would have been that correct response. All right, let's take a look at question 2. Question 2 says the number 84 is 35% of what number? 35% is represented as 35 over 100. Basically, what we can do to find that original number is that we can reciprocate this. So if we find 100 over 35 of 84, this will take us to that number that we are in search of. So let us say we quickly divide through by 5. 5 into this goes 7. 5 into this goes 20. 7 into itself 1. 7 into 8 1. Remember 1. This is 12. So 20 times 12 will give us 240, and that's why this is the answer. So if we have a percentage of a number and we want to find that original number, all we have to do is to reciprocate the percentage and then multiply by the number, and it takes us to the original. Number 3 says here, the histogram shows the inches of rainfall per day in a town for 1 month. So we're looking at it. If we look on the y-axis here, this is the frequency. On the x-axis, it's dealing with inches per day. The question though says, which sentence describe the distribution? So we're looking to see what does this distribution looks like. You could see that there is a symmetric idea with this distribution. So if you look at this as the middle, you could see on either side we're seeing the same height. We're seeing this, which is equal to this. We're seeing this, which is equal to this. So basically this distribution is highly symmetric. So C would have been the response here. The distribution is actually symmetric. All right, and remember what symmetric means, that if you should fold a line along that certain symmetrical line, then overlapping points will meet if you should fold it along that line. Number 4 wants us to find the so we have a square base pyramid. Question is, what is the total, what is the surface area of this? In other words, we want to find the area of all of these triangles, which is 4 of them, and then add it to the area of the square. There are multiple ways to do this, but one of the ways I could do this is to use the perimeter. So the perimeter here is 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. If I divide this by 2 and I multiply this by the height, that vertical height of the triangle, it's going to give me the area of all the triangles right now. So that's 40 divided by 2 here. This is going to give me 20. 20 times 12. This is going to give me 240. And this is for all of these triangles. So definitely you're seeing that one of these triangles would have been 60. But here is the deal. We need to add the area of the square, which is a 10 by 10, which is 100. So 10 times 10 will give us 100 for the square. So we're going to add this, and the final answer we're looking for is actually 340 square meters. And we would have punched that in because you didn't get a response for this, so you would have written your 340 here for that response. Let's look at number 5. Number 5 says here, it says select all the expressions that have the value of 18. So we're looking at absolute value. Remember, the absolute value is always positive, right? The lowest an absolute value could be is nothing, which is 0. There's no negative. So basically, if we check them out quickly, this would have been 14 minus 4. This is 10, so this is not it. For this one, the absolute value of 16 is 16. The absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. And this is 18, so this is a response. Let's check this one out. The absolute value of 6 is 6, plus the absolute value of negative 24 is positive 24. Remember, the absolute value of anything is positive, so this becomes 30. This is not correct. Let's look at the other one. We have the absolute value of 20 here, which is 20. We have a subtraction, and then the absolute value of negative 2 is actually positive 2. And this would have made this 20 minus 2, which is 18. So D is also a solution. The last one here is not correct because this is positive 27 with positive 9, and this is about 36, and this is not correct. So our answers are as follows, B and D. Remember, the absolute value will always be positive. All right, number 6. So number 6 says, on a baseball team, 7 players are in the 6th grade. So 7 are in the 6th grade, 10 are in 7th grade. What is the ratio of the number of players in 6th grade to the total players? 6th grader, we have 7. Total would have been 10 plus 7, that's 17. So it's going to be 7 to 17 because we're talking about the 6th graders to the total. We're looking for this, and the answer is C. All right, let's go to number 7. Number 7 says, what is the value of negative 133 and you're taking away 42? Remember, because these signs are the same, you're just going to add them and keep the signs. So basically, we're going to be adding these. So we're going to get 5, 7, 1, and it's going to be negative, okay? Because with the same sign, you add, keep the sign. So it's negative 175 that you would have actually entered. And this one is not a multiple choice. You are required to enter that one in the response box. Good. All right, number 8. So number 8 says points L and K are shown on the coordinate plane. We're looking at L, we're looking at K. It says match each point. Basically, I'm going to write what these points are, and then I'm going to be looking for them. And based on the scale, since this is -1 and it's in 5 equal pieces, I'd suggest that this is 0.2, this is 0.4, this is 0.6, and this right here is 0.8. So the point L is definitely at 0.6 with 1. So L is a negative 0.6 with positive 1. And then K would have been -1 with, let's go, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. And these are all negative down here. So this is going to be negative 0.6. All right, so let's look. We're looking for L to be negative 0.6, positive 1. You could see right here, this is for L, right? And then for K, it's -1 and then negative 0.6, -1, negative 0.6, this. So K would have been that. So basically, it's about reading your coordinates. Make sure that you look on the scaling. You could see that the 1 and the -1, they're very far. So you have to be careful with what you're doing there. You have to pay attention to the details. Let's go to number 9. Number 9 says Richard uploads 1/6 of his photo library to a file sharing site in half a minute. So it took it like half of a minute. He says if the upload continues at the same rate, so here we have some consistency. What fraction of Richard's photo library can be uploaded per minute? All right, so the idea is we're moving from half a minute to per minute. How do you change a half of a minute to 1 minute? You would have multiplied this by 2. So you could see this becomes 1 minute here, right? So whatever we do here, we'll do it to 1/6. To find the answer, you want to double this. To double something, you multiply by 2. So if you multiply this by 2, you could reduce this. 2 into itself is 1. 2 into the 6 is 3. 1 times 1 gives you 1. 3 times 1 gives you 3. We're looking for 1/3. Remember that 1/3 is actually 2 times as big as 1/6. All right, let's look at the number 10 question. This is the last one that I'm actually looking at. It says Aisha record the outdoor temperature in degrees Fahrenheit each day for 5 days. All right, so they did this for 5 days. The question is saying, what is the mean temperature? The mean temperature would suggest that we need to add up all of these. That's all we got to do. So it's 5. So let's add up from all right, so we could just draw a line here, put a plus. We're going to add up these, and then we're going to divide by 5. So this is 7, 16. This is 20. So I put a 0, carry a 2. All right, so this is 8, 11, 12, and 3, 5. And then this becomes so 12. All right, so we have 14, 20, 28. Okay, 28 and 4. This is 34 and 1, 35. Okay. So basically, we're going to divide 355 by 5. So 5 into 12 is 1. 5 into 35 is 7. 5 into 5 give us 1. We're looking for an answer of 71. So you are required to punch in 71, as you could see there. All right, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.